Oh, hello. Really lovely to see you. It's been a long time. Thanks for dropping by. You arrived just as we're doing our winter broad beans. So we've got the broad beans, we've got the compost, and all we're doing is literally that. They'll shoot, sprout in for a week or so, and in about 2 weeks' time we'll plant them out. So the idea is that they go out in November and they get a nice early crop, and the black fly shouldn't touch them too much. Also, we've just pricked out our pak choi. That's going to go in the other greenhouse when that's a little bit bigger. And the other day I went and robbed some asparagus berries from a plot up the road here, with his permission, I may add. We also got our runner beans here that are drying off. Not drying off very successfully this year, so I might have to actually go and buy some more runner bean seeds for next year, which will be the first time in 17 years, but we'll see how they come out. So let's have a little look around the plot, shall we? As we haven't been conversing for a little while. This is Brenda. She's in here for the winter. She's done a fantastic job keeping the crows off. Not that we have too many crows, but hey. So we've got our strawberries that are just about finished. There were carrots in here, and these have got my shallots in now. Literally, I put these in this week, so they're not even going to be shooting yet, but the cats dug them up, so I've put the mesh over them there. We're going to talk about asparagus berries in the greenhouse. These were seed that I planted in January, February this year. So this is my first year for these. The ones just over here are second year, and they're flowering now. So I'll get a crop off those next year. If I'm really lucky, I'll get a crop off these next year. If you look at, you can see that. That's actually almost thick enough. So I think maybe next year we're going to have a very small crop. I was anticipating 3 years, but hey. Here's my, these are supposed to be broccoli, but all I'm getting is that. So baby broccoli, but hey, it'll eat, that's not a problem. Coming around here, we had our garlic in here this year. Got some in the greenhouse, I'll show you that before we go. My cauliflowers, these are medallion cauliflowers. They're an expensive variety, but they are absolutely beautiful, and normally they're huge, so they're going to be from February, March time. Planted those June or July. We've got our parsnips, which is a success story for this year. We're going to have our bonfire towards the end of the week if the wind holds. We check the pirate flag to see which way the wind's blowing. I want it to go that way. It's not allowed to go towards the houses, or I get moaned at by the council, so we don't want that. We've got some Romanesco cauliflowers. We've got some spinach. We've got an exploded Romanesco. It's really not doing what it's supposed to do at all. But hey, well, because I only got this plot last year, this is the first year on it, so I'm a bit out of sequence. I've not got my seasonal rotations yet. So as a piece of ground becomes available, I had my potatoes here, so that was dug, covered in manure. Bits over there, the same. I've left where the parsnips are going for next year, so we don't want manure on those. These are the 2 remaining trees. I've taken 13 plum trees out of this plot. I've got 2 left. The apple tree is coming out, but I will keep the pear. Got some leeks over there, which are, they started to get a bit rusty, so I've just chopped the tops off. They'll carry on growing okay. And I've got my compost bins that this is the first one that I did last year. This is which I had all my butternut squash and the like in, and that grew beautifully in the neat manure. This is currant. All the currant compost is going into here. And I've got 3 new pallets there to build my next one. As we come here, because I only moved here this year, the old plots that I had 2 half plots. I had number 64 and number 66. So 6466 all adds up to 22. My new plot is number 22. If you're into numerology, that's synchronicity. So I've just started digging this apple tree out. It's a good enough tree, but with the amount of space that I've got now, I've only got a quarter of the growing space that I had with the 2 previous plots, so I'm having to just make sure I use all of the space. A few red cabbages over there, lots of lovely manure going down, so rather than dig it in or compost it, when I dig, because this plot hadn't been used properly for 2 or 3 years, I'm just putting manure on the top and then planting through it, or I'll dig it over again in the spring. These are my purple sprouting. That's a success story. The first lot just died. These ones have come up beautifully, but there's no fruit on them, so, or no sprouting on them. But I'm sure that will come. Here's my onions for next year. There's my elephant garlic for next year. That's where the parsnips are going, so there's no manure there. That's where the parsnips are going. If you just wait there for just 1 second, I'll show you something. This is my elephant garlic from last year, and that's one of the bigger cloves. So that's not bad, eh? That's pretty good, I reckon. So I'm quite pleased with that. And then we're going to come round here, balancing all the way. This is my first year globe artichoke, which I'm really pleased about. That was seed January, February, I guess, so that's done pretty good. And this is a cutting from my old fig tree over on the other allotment on plot 64. So it's the first year cutting, and I'm pleased to say we're almost at November now. Halloween, yeah. And that's a fig. It's only small, but it's going to be delicious. And while I'm chewing, my lovely granddaughter can press the stop button.